is that Sharina Hudson is threatening to spill on how Kevin Hunter had Wendy Williams hooked on stuff on her show for years. Why? Apparently, Kevin's well is dry. Like dry. And I've seen reports claiming that Sharina is opting for harsh measures to get Kevin to step up because he can barely take care of their daughter, who Wendy was practically raising with her alimony, by the way. Chell, I'm not sure where she expects Kevin to get the money, because last time I checked, homeboy was broke.
I don't recommend that you work with your husband because I made him my manager, and then when I decided to divorce him, he had to be fired. In other words, I made him divorced and unemployed all in one day.
Not unless he has a stash somewhere that Sharina found out about. Or maybe Sharina caught Kevin cheating and is now plotting her revenge. I don't know. Honey, I wish I could say I'm surprised about how things are going with Kevin, but I'm not. So how about we just get into what Sharina allegedly knows? Okay guys, Wendy watchers may be aware that Wendy was planning to go back to radio, and her plan was actually to do that as soon as she divorced Kevin. However, word is, because the industry is small, word somehow got to Kevin that Wendy was planning to quit television and go back to radio, and Kevin was not about to let that happen. So he allegedly came up with a plan with production to keep Wendy medicated, but just enough for her to be able to show up to work and do the show. Guess what? You see that tea that Wendy was drinking every day on her show? That is exactly what they used to keep her medicated enough to work, but a little delusional. Yes, every time Wendy pulled up to her chair, one of the things she would do was put her tea bag in her tea, but she wasn't the one who was putting the hot water in the cup, and that's how they got to her. Allegedly, whatever they were putting in her cup started to have side effects, and that's why Wendy started acting weird on set. This actually explains all the time she looked like she was out of it, and reportedly, that infamous fall when she was in a green suit was partly because of what was being put in her tea. Based on reports, the plan was to keep Wendy medicated for as long as it was possible, use her for as long as it was possible, and then delete her when they no longer needed her. Now, from what I've heard, Kevin Hunter knew about it and even orchestrated everything, and his mistress, Sharina Hudson, allegedly also knew what was happening behind the scenes. And come to think of it, Wendy watchers might recall that in a few of her episodes, Wendy actually asked if her team had put something in her tea. At one point, she even said something to the tune of, "If you're gonna put a pill in my tea, at least stir it well so I can't see the residue. I'm not drinking that." Also, does anyone else wonder about that Wendy producer that unalived himself after Wendy left the show? They claimed he did that because he stole money from the budget, but something was off about the whole story. Maybe, just maybe, he wanted to spill. And that time when there was a wellness check on Wendy at her house because Kevin was allegedly poisoning her? What if that was also true? Yeah, it's very possible that something was going on and that Kevin and Sharina knew about it. And if word on the street is anything to go by, Sharina is allegedly ready to spill on exactly what she knows, which means that something is definitely going on with her and Kevin Sr. I mean, what more could Sharina do with a man who not only stopped providing for her, but he also put the house he was living in with her for sale, took 2 loans out on 2 luxury cars through a company called Flex Wealth, and in addition, he was also hit with a lawsuit from UBS Bank accusing him of refusing to pay up on his credit card. Baby, she's out. Okay, I know that some time back there were already allegations that Sharina had dumped Kevin because he could no longer provide for her and her daughter. Because you know, Wendy was the one paying alimony for all 3 of them until her show ended. But even before this, Sharina was fully dependent on Wendy because it was Wendy's money that was financing all her failed businesses. Like she went to school to be a massage therapist, and she opened a kiosk at a mall in North Carolina. At one point, Sharina also set up a jewelry and clothing line online called Vish. In addition, she was also a realtor, and she also opened a vegan company after every other thing failed. Kevin even literally bought Sharina a house a few miles from where Wendy lived, with Wendy's money. Well, according to Wendy, everything was failing because Sharina is not that sharp anyway.
She was one of these, less than smart women who moved to the big city with bright lights, and she wanted to be a model. And so you know how the girls with the sparkler champagne bottles at the club, they get people to spend more money, they dress scantily clad and things like that. And I, being the girl about town, popular on the radio at that time, I was hosting a lot of these parties, and I was a staple. I had the Wendy Williams Comedy Night at the Caroline's Comedy Club and things like that. And so, yeah, get over there with the sparkling girls and, hi girls, go look, see that guy right there? He's got money. See, because I knew the scene
Yeah, right.
and attracted the scene. And all their job was to go over there and offer a sparkler champagne for more money than you normally spend for champagne, and guys would actually pay it. Kevin's problem is that Kevin ended up getting with this girl. She made herself very available to him. She was very disrespectful to me. Do you know he had the nerve to tell me that she admires me?
Oh,
So they kind of tried to pretend that everything was okay. And Kevin even paid tribute to Sharina for her birthday and described her as his wife in all caps with 2 red exclamation points in a post where he was like, "Happy birthday, my queen, mother, chef, wife. If you want it, you can get it for the rest of your life." However, reportedly, now that Sharina is no longer getting anything from Kevin, she has no business staying with him. I even heard that Sharina went back home, which is weird because she had reportedly cut off her entire family. By the way, when Kevin's whole affair went down, Sharina's family agreed that she played a big part in ruining Wendy's marriage. In fact, in an exclusive interview, Sharina's uncle blamed her for playing a major role in Wendy Williams' toxic divorce, saying, "She's a strong girl. She should know right from wrong." According to Sharina's uncle, Sharina left her home state of South Carolina years ago and did not return to see her family even on holidays. Sharina definitely thought that she had secured the bag, and even when Wendy divorced Kevin, she was still safe because Wendy was still cutting Kevin them checks. But now it's all gone, and Sharina had no option but to crawl back to her family. But like I said, guys, it's not like Kevin can magically get money. Literally not long ago, Kevin filed court documents for like the 5th time, requesting that the court vacate and set aside the settlement agreement with Wendy, and he requested the judgment based on what he said was fraud, misrepresentation, and misconduct. Basically, he was still after Wendy's money, and he even cited an affidavit by Wendy's best friend, Regina Shell, who had said that while living with Wendy in July 2022, she saw her cumulative bank balance, and she even said that Wendy was considering changing her financial institution and met with Bank of America in December 2022. Regina had said she was present during the entire presentation with senior advisors at Bank of America's private banking group, in which they outlined the best products available to Wendy. She also said that after the meeting, she, Wendy, and Wendy's guardian Sabrina were all in the same vehicle on their way to a courthouse. Then, days later, a dramatic turn took place, and Wendy's publicist claimed to have overheard a conversation between Wendy and her guardian, where Sabrina told her there is no money in Wendy's accounts. This was what Kevin was using as a basis in court to try and get money from Wendy, because he believes that Wendy has money hidden somewhere. However, according to a countersuit Sabrina filed, she said that Kevin was the one who owed Wendy money. In the court filing, Sabrina claimed that the payments to Kevin were to terminate if Wendy's yearly earned income was less than 2 times her then yearly income as of February 1st, 2020. The Guardian then said that Wendy, who had not shown up to host the Wendy Williams show for her entire last season, stopped being paid her full salary in October of 2021, but Kevin continued to be paid his alimony. According to Sabrina, as a result, Kevin had been unjustly enriched by the receipt of $112,500. The monthly payment was $37,500, so times 3 months is $112,500, and Sabrina wanted Kevin to pay back the money plus interest. So Kevin was basically broke and in debt. Again, unless there's something else going on that we don't know about between Kevin and Sharina, I really have no idea where she expects him to get the money. Maybe he did in fact cheat on her like he did with Wendy. I guess it's true that you lose them exactly how you get them. And now Miss Sharina wants revenge. Anywho, as far as Wendy is concerned, she's currently still fighting to get her life back. She has been questioning why she's been under guardianship since 2022, even after recently getting a perfect score on 2 capacity tests. She has said that despite passing her mental capacity evaluation, she has to wait for a new cognitive evaluation over which her guardian, Sabrina Morrissey, has some level of of control. Well, in a series of interviews, Wendy also expressed her desire to regain control over her finances and decisions, sparking widespread conversation about her situation. And one of the first interviews she did was, of course, the one she did with the Breakfast Club.
You know what I'm saying?
They said you're cognitively impaired and you're incapacitated.
Do I seem that way?
No.
You've been
God damn
calling,
it.
you've been calling me 5 times a day for the last 2 weeks. No, you don't seem that way.
And just how dare, excuse me, who I naturally am is who I naturally am, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yes.
And my niece knows all about that. I'm sorry. I apologize.
And to be clear, you can't leave. Like, they won't allow you to leave or have visitors, family members or not. So you can't even leave and take a walk if you wanted to. Or
Wendy also said that there are things she can't discuss because she's legally not allowed to discuss them yet. And maybe this whole issue with Kevin is one of them. She's probably somewhere still plotting her comeback. But meanwhile, let me know what you think about Sharina allegedly threatening Kevin with Wendy receipts